Hi everyone. Today is a beautiful day to install another part on my Panigale R. Actually, every day is a good day to install a part. Today what I will be doing is something really cool. Actually, yesterday I installed the same exact part on my buddy Ash's bike, who Adrenaline Life on Instagram, and it seemed to work really well, so I'm very excited to install mine. And what I am talking about today is Translogic shifter. So this is basically a power shifter for your quick shifts and your auto blip. It's supposed to be a lot better than the stock ones. I don't know if you're very familiar or not with the 1299 and the Panigale R bike on this series. However, the shifter on this bike is a bit clunky sometimes. You'll be in taking a turn on a track, or when you're getting down low and you shift, sometimes it's kind of a rough shift mid-turn. What this is supposed to do is make it a beautiful, smooth shift. So it's got since this bike already has an auto blipper and the quick shifter on it, it's plug and play. Let's go ahead and take a look at this bad boy and see what it looks like. I just had it open. So go ahead and get it open here. Beautiful gold packaging. I might just keep it just because it looks awesome. And here it is. So what you get here is you get the full Translogic shift rod, and it's fully adjustable. You can actually adjust it here and here and here. So there's a nut in all three of them. And there's also spacers. I believe you can move them around. If you want to have more red, you could put it here, or you could put the red here. It's up to you. If you're running GP shift, you can actually use this. However, when I installed it on Ash's V4R, it actually made his shifting opposite when he's already got GP shift. So I'm pretty interested to see what's going to happen when I install this on my bike. Whether I need the adapter or not, I guess I will let you know. Now, what we've got to do here on my bike, what I'm going to have to do is just take these two bolts out here so I can get to the back of the shift rod to remove that one bolt holding on the eye-bearing eye bolt, whatever you want to call it. And unfortunately on the 1299, 1199, 959, all these bikes, this series, the clutch slave cylinder is slap dap in the way of the front bolt, unfortunately, so I have to remove the clutch slave cylinder, which in order to move that, I've got to remove my fairing because it's in the way. After I remove that, what I will have to do is unplug the harness, which is way up in there. Shouldn't be too hard to get my hands on once I get this fairing out of the way. Stay tuned and I will shoot the next step in this process. See ya. Okay, so now that I got the fairing off, what I did was just a quick run through to look at my engine, make sure that I have no oil leaking anywhere, which should all look pretty clean. Up here there's a little bit of coolant, but that's normal because there's actually a overflow bleeder there for when you're running hot in the summertime. So this is normal for your bike to actually drain a little bit of fluids here. Don't worry, it's not dangerous. So if you do see wetness there on your 899, 959, 1199, 1299, that's absolutely normal. So don't worry about it. So to get the clutch slave cylinder off, what I will have to do is remove these three bolts here. 1, 2, 3. And don't worry if you've never done this before. If you remove these three bolts, actually no oil comes out because I shouldn't say oil, brake fluid or clutch fluid, because it actually stops in here. Okay, so when you take this off, no brake fluid is going to come out, so you don't have to worry about that. You just unbolt the three and move it aside so that you can get to this this shift rod front bolt. After that, I have enough room to reach up in there and unplug that part of the harness to plug in mine. And the next thing to do would be to take these two bolts out so that I can get the back shift rod taken apart. Be back with you shortly. Okay, we're back. What I've done was I removed the clutch slave cylinder. As you know, I have the CNC racing slave cylinder, and actually, when I told you it doesn't leak fluid, I'm wrong. The CNC clutch slave cylinder has some type of pinhole on it that actually bleeds out when you take it off. The stock slave cylinder actually didn't leak any. So when I changed them, I didn't have any trouble, but actually when I took this, I covered it up because it was dripping a little bit. When I took this one off, it started leaking out of the bottom through a pinhole, which I think it's some sort of pressure thing. So once I put it back together, I think it will stop leaking. So I went ahead and I bolted this up. I put Loctite on both bolts. Please make sure you use blue Loctite, or even I think the factory had red on there. And I put Loctite on both of these titanium bolts here, holding it together. So the shifter's in place. Make sure you keep this rubber. This is like a thick rubber band type thing, and what it's to keep from happening is this from rubbing up against the metal here and cutting itself like a phone charger does. So the next step would be to plug this in right there. At this point, I am not sure if I need this or not, because when I put this on Ash's bike, his bike is already set up mechanically as a GP shift. My bike is not GP shift. I have my bike regular. My current rear sets cannot do GP shift. But this says for GP shift applications, and I put it on his bike, and it actually ended up making it opposite. Not the shifting opposite, but how it blips. Basically, the auto blipper became the upshift, and the quick shift became the downshift in a way. So basically, if you're accelerating, and on GP shift you push down, if you're accelerating, you can't push down. It won't let you shift. But if you kick it upward to downshift, it'll let you do it. On reverse side, if you let go of the throttle, now you can kick it downward. You can actually upshift. So it's basically backwards with this. So I have to take it off of Ash's bike, but I don't know if this is going to be needed on my bike or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install it without, and then I'm going to take it for a quick ride and see if the auto blipper works correctly. And if I do need this, then I'll have to put this back on. So stay tuned. I'll let you know what happens. I actually had to bleed my slave cylinder here and at the top by the master. Just I guess a little bit of air got in there, and if you were to look very closely here, you can kind of see the little breather hole there. I'm not quite sure exactly what it does, but it actually needed to some fluid came out of it after I wiped it up and got the thing bolted to the bike. It actually stopped leaking, but it did cause a little bit of air to get in the lines, therefore I had to bleed it. I got it all zip tied and plugged in all the way up here, looking good. I made sure there wasn't a lot of tension on any of the cables here, and here you need to leave a little bit of slack because of the way it moves. You don't want it to be too tight. And as you notice, I did not need to use the adapter. To be honest, I don't know what this is for, because Ash's V4R is already set up as GP shift. My bike is not GP shift, and neither one of our bikes actually needed this with the Translogic shifter. So if you have a Panigale R or 1299 or V4R, you are not going to need this with the Translogic shifter. So basically, I'm all set and ready to go. I've already had a quick cruise, and it is very smooth and beautiful feeling on the shift. Obviously, it was just a cruiser on the block. I did not do anything crazy yet, so next time I go to the track, I will let you guys know how it feels. Anyways, that's it. Thank you guys very much for watching. Catch you later.